Hi everyone, so it's me again, Miss Shirta. So this time you're going to study only from your student book. Yay! You just have to open this page 58 until 59. Okay? Okay, so guys, have you opened page 58 and 59? This time, your focus of study is reading. That's why you are going to read a text there, and the title is Nature or Nurture. However, before reading the text, here we have an IQ question. So, can you guess the right figure to complete the diagram here? So see this diagram carefully and decide the shape or the figure, whether A, B, C or D is the correct one. Okay, and I will tell you the answer after I count until 5. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. What do you think is the correct figure for this question mark, the blank space here? If your answer is D, congratulations, you got it right. So the correct figure for this question mark or this blank space is D. Good. Okay, so that's only an intermezzo. Now let's go back to the reading part. Okay, pay attention to the first part, guys. Read the text quickly, and here you have to match the headings with the paragraphs A to E. However, among those 6 paragraphs, among those headings, you actually don't need to use one of the headings. Okay, and then this is also, the second part is also about the content of the text. So later, you have to read the text again and then choose the best answers, just like usual. Okay, you have to do 6 numbers here. And alright, so only 2 parts about the reading part. So I'm going to play the audio of the text, and please hear it while reading the text as well. Okay, so you can hear the right pronunciation of some vocabularies that you haven't known. So are you ready to hear the audio? Okay. Here is the audio, and please read while listening to the audio. 1, 2, 3.
Unit 7, page 59. Read. Exercise 2. Read and listen to the text. Nature or nurture? Who enjoys doing exams? Very few school students seem to, but they would all agree that a student who does well in exams and tests is a student who is intelligent. But where does intelligence come from? The 19th century scientist Francis Galton was one of the first to study human intelligence seriously. Galton wanted to discover if it was hereditary or if it was a product of people's environments. In other words, were people born intelligent, or could intelligence be improved through education? Following years of research, Galton concluded that most of our brain power comes from our genes, and that our surroundings don't have much effect on how clever we are. Galton's theory that intelligence was hereditary dominated psychology throughout the 20th century. In fact, studies in the 1960s of identical twins succeeded in reinforcing Galton's views. twins in the study had been separated at birth and adopted by different families, so they had never lived together. In some cases, they didn't even know about each other. Researchers interviewed the twins when they had reached adulthood and discovered that they had all achieved remarkably similar positive results in their studies. This seemed to be clear proof that intelligence was passed on from generation to generation. However, one professor of psychology, Richard E. Nisbet, was not convinced. For years, Nisbet had adhered to the belief that most of our cerebral skills, or lack of them, were inherited. However, he soon realized that there was a flaw in the study on the twins. There was no information about the families who had adopted them. Through his own research, he discovered that the adoptive families all had middle-class backgrounds. In other words, they were families who were able to provide children with a good education. Nisbet discovered that all the sets of twins had been brought up in almost identical environments and had each received a good education. Couldn't this be the reason for the similarity in results between them? Nisbet believed that this was the case. Further studies by a university professor in New Zealand, James Flynn, confirmed the idea that the environment greatly affects how clever we are. Flynn had studied lots of IQ, intelligence quotient tests, that were carried out around the world during the 20th century. These tests are used to measure a person's intelligence, and someone managing a score of 100 is said to have an average level. Flynn noticed that people who had regular access to education and a good diet had been able to increase their average IQ by 30 points. Nisbet and Flynn have shown that although our ancestors' genes have a lot to do with intellect, it also depends on the opportunities we get to develop our brains. But of course, parents have a big influence on that too. Parents can help their children to realize their potential by speaking to them frequently, by reading to them, and by encouraging them to be aware of the world around them. It's no use being born with innate intelligence if nobody encourages you to make the best of it.
Alright everyone, that was the audio of the text. So after listening to the audio and also read the text again, please do part 1 and 2 of the task in your student book. So I'll remind you again. Part 1, you have to match the headings with the paragraph A until E. However, you don't need to use one of the headings. So only 5 headings should be answered. Okay? And then next, please do part 2. Read the text again or listen to the audio again and then choose the best answers. And skip part 3. Okay. And also skip understanding ideas. I do want to have a speaking session with you guys. You know how interested I am in speaking with you. But this time, unfortunately, I have to skip this. So, next what you have to do is to match the highlighted words in the text with this definition. So please write down the answers next to each of the sentence, okay? And yeah, that's all for today. Please do your tasks and just do it on your student books. You don't have to write down your answers on a piece of paper. And then later, please capture it and submit it to the WhatsApp group that has been made before. And you have to submit your work. I think I will wait until next Monday. Okay, so the deadline is on next Monday. Alright, that's all for today. Have a nice day everyone. Goodbye.